One of the things that I learned reading a little bit of his Nikolai Bachman's version of the Yoga Sutra is that, that first sutra, yoga is given to calm. Well, actually, now we begin is the first sutra, which is just laying out a commitment to the path. But the second sutra, yoga is given to calm the fluctuations of the mind. The word chitta, so the sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritta Nirodha. Um, and the word chitta, I've always been led to believe it just means the mind. And Vritta is the turnings of the mind, the challenges of the mind. And yoga is given to calm. So Nirodha is stillness or calmness, to calm those turnings of the mind. But one of the things that he's talking about with the chitta, is that it's not just the mind, that it's the heart mind, and that heart mind really should be one word, that it can't be separated, that we are heart mind. We are not just our thinking body, but we're our emotional body as well. And that the chitta, the heart mind, is this interface between the purest essence of ourselves, our awareness, our consciousness. And one might even call this the Atman, or the inner state of God that lives within us. So the divine within us. That the mind is the heart mind is the interface between that truest part of ourselves, the divine part of ourselves that is connected to all things, and that which is outside of ourselves in the world, the things we perceive that we take in on this earthen plane. So, I like this because it makes me realize that my heart mind is just an interface, something that kind of is a go-between, a moderator between the truth of who we are and all that we experience. So for some reason, it struck me deeply to think of the sense of consciousness or pure awareness as being an aspect of God, that we can look inward, not outward, for the support and feeling of oneness with your identity with your God, whatever that is. And for some reason, that looking inward for it, for me, is very helpful. So I just pass that little nugget along because I don't know if you struggle at all with that, with kind of perceiving the divine essence outside of yourself, which is so much of our religious conditioning, that it's something outside of ourselves, but really that it's also something deep inside of ourselves. And to reorient, I think really helps to recognize that God lives within, and therefore we all are a reflection of this divine. And of course, we're taught this. If you're taught in a religious tradition of any kind, it's taught, but I don't feel like that's necessarily the conditioning that I received in the Catholic faith, to have the sense of God within. So I just have you sit with that. Okay, so close your eyes and settle yourself. So whatever your religious beliefs are, can this framework kind of settle within it? And is there something in the Yoga Sutra, even though it's not a religious text, is it something that can help you touch the divinity that's within you, your relationship with your own personal higher power? So as you drop your eyes now, close them, let them rest, and sense into the body. What are you feeling? We're given these beautiful bodies to transport our souls around. So can you care for it well? So, what does it feel like to breathe here? Can you drop your awareness into the breath? Maybe slow it down. Maybe it's not ready to slow down. Whatever you're finding, see if you can just be present for your breathing. We're going to work a little bit with opening up the pathways for breathing today, kind of help us get a little unstuck in the ways that our breath can get stuck. So take a little assessment here of what's happening in your breath. Maybe you feel really open and free today. Maybe there's a little restriction somewhere. So just sensing your rib cage, your diaphragm, your muscles that impact your breathing, the shape of your posture, all these subtle things that impact how we breathe. How open are your sinuses today? Are you able to easily breathe through your nose or not so much? So just notice all these things that impact our breathing, including our emotional states. So the heart mind, your thinking and your feeling. How are these settling in your breath today, impacting your breath today? And remember that reciprocal relationship that the breath has, your energy body has with that heart mind. So your state of affairs and your emotions in your mind affect your breathing, and your breathing affects the state of affairs in your heart mind. So remember, energy flows where attention goes. So let's place our mind and our heart into the breath to welcome in some prana. Where are you directing your attention? Where do you want your energy to go? And then place your hands together at your heart. Feel a sense of lift where there can be a spacious uprising of the heart. And with your hands together like this, can you feel this triad of the thinking mind, the feeling heart, and the doing hands? Unify yourself, come into focus. Set your intention here for your practice. And release your hands and we'll find our way to our back. All right, so as you stretch out your body on the ground, enjoy. Maybe it's been a bit since you've been horizontal. Maybe daylight savings has kind of messed with you a little bit. So just notice what your internal rhythms are feeling like this morning. Okay. And then drop your body down. See if you can just melt. You don't have to do anything yet other than a little mini Shavasana. Find yourself moving into your breath here. All right, and then when you're ready, stretch your arms overhead and let's enjoy. Reaching one side, reaching the other, and just enjoy kind of waking up and opening up through your hips and your shoulders and your ribs. And then reach your hands like you just dove into a pool. Feel long, like you're streamlining in water. Extend and lengthen. And then exhale and draw your knees into your chest and let your back relax a little bit. A bit of softness here, maybe a little rocking. All right, hang on to your knees and let's circle, kind of rolling your knees one way. Okay, rolling your knees the other. All right, and then we'll open up our knees away from the midline and bring them back in towards. So you just have this nice mobility in your hip joints. And then take your knees as far out as is comfortable. And take a deep breath into your diaphragm. And then relax your knees back. Grab onto your feet for a happy baby pose. Drop your knees down toward your ribs and maybe a little rocking to and fro. Perhaps you stretch one leg straight as you rock and just kind of see what kind of movement you want in your body right now. Okay. All right, and then put your feet on the ground. Stretch your arms out to the side. And let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. Maybe your head wants to turn in the opposite direction of your knees. See what feels good here. And then we'll take a deeper twist. So shift your hips over to the right, pick up the knees, drop them left, and twist open. Turn your head. Just enjoy this stretch through the spine. Notice your breathing. Relax your head down. Okay, coming back to center, we'll scooch our hips to the left, drop your knees over to the right, and twist open here. Turning the head and breathing. All right, and then come back to center. Stretch your limbs wide on the ground. Let's roll your wrists and your fingers. Deep breath in. Exhale, knees into your chest. Pick up your head. Put your head back down. Keep your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg long on the ground and warm up your feet. Rolling around in your ankles, wiggling through your toes. Enjoy. Keep your head and shoulders as relaxed as you can. And then we'll switch sides. Take the left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and feel your way into some movement again. How's the breathing? All right, and then we'll stretch out and reach our body long, stretching your limbs wide. And then exhale. Draw your knees into your chest. Roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As we find all fours, have a moment to yield into the right and then yield into the left and kind of feel that contact with the ground, know where you are in space. And find neutral territory, and we'll begin to move through some cat-cows, arching and rounding the spine, taking care to notice your body. Notice what feels good. Notice what's beginning to loosen and open, and recognize that it's very difficult to separate out heart, mind, and body, that we unify. Okay, so we're not trying to separate out, we're trying to unify, to recognize that we are all one being. And then move around any way you want to move around. You can move your neck or your shoulders, move your tail. And then drop down into a child's pose and stretch the arms out in front of you and feel that inchworm effect of reaching your fingers a little farther, a little farther. So you kind of stretch open your shoulders. Relax that stretch a little bit. Walk the hands to one side or the other. Adjust your hips. Feel that length from one hand all the way down to your ribs, to your hip. Feel your breath touch what it can. Touch the inside of your rib cage. Notice your lungs touching the inner ribs. See if you can feel that billowing of the lung field. And then come to the other side and feel the same. You'll start out maybe by just feeling muscularity stretch open. And then once you kind of settle into that beautiful stretch, start to feel your lungs themselves. Touch the inner walls of your rib cage. See if you can crest the ribs from the inside all over. So we're not just pinpoint one spot, but the whole rib cage feels the lungs touch. And then come back to neutral. Move around in your spine again, maybe a little wagging of your tail. And we'll reach the arm up in the air. Let's roll your wrist here, stretching open your chest to exhale to twist. Enjoy your spine. Melt the head. Feel free to move. Feel free to be still. Feel free to come out a little bit and stretch your shoulder more. Just kind of find what warming your body needs. And inhale, bring that arm back up. Hand comes down onto the ground. We'll switch sides. Arm high. Give your wrist a little roll. And then exhale and drop the shoulder. Touch into the breath again. Just keep finding your breathing. It's so easy when we start to feel sensation in the body to kind of lose sight of the breath. See if you can maintain your awareness. And then lift that arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground and we'll find our way to a dog pose. Taking your time. And so we're pedaling your feet. Enjoy your legs. Take a moment to really open up your body here. Maybe your feet are pedaling. Maybe you're bouncing a little bit. Just swaying your hips. What feels good to wake up and open up? When you feel ready for a little stillness, return your awareness into the breath and the rib cage. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, forward fold. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the body. Exhale and melt again. Forward fold, knees bend a little bit. Relax your head. One more time, a halfway lift. Let's stay in this pose. So holding blocks or legs, pedal your feet a little bit here and just notice the backs of your legs, your hip joints, kind of opening things up. Maybe your feet broaden a little bit more fully. And then we'll fold and deeply let the spine lengthen, bobble the head and let your head relax. Grab onto the base of the skull with the heel of the hands and have a little downward and inward pressure. Breathe into the whole length of the spine. And relax your hands, bend your knees. Inhale, rising up. Bringing the arms upward to the sky. If you're at all dizzy, squeeze to the midline, take your time. Reaching high, feeling that extension, open things up. Maybe you even lean back a little bit. Just see if that feels nice. And we'll give a nice cactus to the chest. Squeeze the back body, really stay here a moment and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the back of you. And exhale and round in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the front of you. Okay, reaching up to the sky again. Exhale. Loading forward. A halfway lift. Lengthening through your spine. Exhale to melt. Come back to a dog pose. Feel extension in your body. Lengthening and opening. A full breath here. Full breath out. Take your time in this pose. Feel your grounding. And then when you feel ready, we can come forward into a plank. Push the ground away. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel the index finger mounds find the ground. Hug to the midline. Maybe even your hands hug to the midline. Knees down to the ground if you need. Find the earth with your whole torso. A couple of shoulder rolls. And then when you're ready, open to your back bend, cobra pose. Enjoy the breath. Exhale, coming back down. Enjoy the breath. A rising tide, open up. Exhale, releasing down. Come up onto all fours. Have a little wiggle in your spine. Stretch back to a child's pose and feel that compression in the hips. When you're ready, lift up to a dog. Long spine here. Let's walk our feet forward, Uttanasana. Notice you're warming up now. Your body's starting to feel a little looser. Inhale for a halfway lift. Maybe you're feeling a little more connected to your body, embodied. Push through your feet, rise up. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more grounded in your breathing. So just pause here for a moment and just notice just what the little bit of yoga has offered you. Inhale, reaching up, grab onto your right wrist with your left hand and feel free to have a little wider stance if you want that with your legs. Stretch over to the side, lengthening through the side body, ground through your legs, and then we'll roll forward and stretch out the back, spread the back. Okay, straight up you go. Switch sides, reaching into the over to the right, grabbing onto your left wrist. Root down through your left foot. And same thing, coming forward, spreading your back out. And then inhale, stretching up. Exhale, release your hands. Give your shoulders some nice movement, some little rolls if you want, maybe some handshakes. And then we're going to do just a little jiggle for our lungs. Imagine you're just kind of shaking your lungs up and down like if you're cleaning out a jar and you put the lid on and there's some soapy water in there and you're shaking it. So shake out the soapy water jar of your lungs. Maybe make some noise. All your joints are receiving this, not just your lungs. This is good for your lymph, good for your joints, good for your discs and your spine, good for your lungs, good for your internal organs. And then pause. Notice your energy. Find your breath. All right, now we don't have partners to do this with, so we'll do it by ourselves, okay? You can take fists or hands, whatever feels good, and you can do it rhythmically left to right, or you can do both at the same time. And we're just gonna give a little pounding to our lung tissues. And so you can use any way you want, but get around under your armpits, get the base of your ribs, up at your neck. Remember, your lungs go right up to your collarbones. They even peak above your collarbones. Maybe you can take some fists and get some of the back of your ribs, back of your lungs to have a little bit of tapping. How's your breath while you're doing this? Maybe you can reach over to the top of your shoulder. I know you can't get the full back of your lungs, but try to get the very base of your ribs close to your spine, kind of waking up our diaphragm a little bit. And then just relax your arms, give your hands a shake. And then notice your breathing. And take a deep breath in, reaching the arms up. Exhale, release your arms down. Grab a strap if you need it, or interlace your hands behind your back. Take an open chest. Come forward and lift your arms away from your spine. Stretching through the fronts of your shoulders. Maybe a little tail wagging. Maybe a little head
bobbing, maybe a little shoulder wagging. And then we'll release the hands down. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back to a lunge, right foot's in front. Grounding yourself, put your back knee on the earth. Stretching open through the hip flexors. Remember that psoas has a lot of relationship with the diaphragm. So letting it open up here a little bit. Feel your breath. See if your breath can touch your psoas muscle. Maybe come up a little higher. And then maybe we'll reach with that left arm. Maybe our right hand comes on a block. And there's a little side bend here. And just see what feels good. Staying grounded in your legs. And then cross your forearm or elbow over for a twist. Your version, whatever that means. Drop the shoulders wide, collarbones. Try not to collapse the chest, but open it. Breathe really deeply. Unwind the legs. Bring your hands onto your blocks. Curl your back toe under. Lift into a lunge. And then we'll bend and straighten here and just enjoy a little relaxation through the hip flexors as you stretch your hamstring. Back and forth. How's the breath? Ground yourself, push through your feet, rise up, crescent lunge. Open up through the heart space. And then we're going to release the hands down. Turn sideways on your mat, elbows inside your knees, squat to a wide, deep squat. Opening up those inner thighs, maybe a little rocking to and fro with your weight bearing into your left and right. Okay, from here, adjust your feet so you can come into a Parsva Konasana. Right foot is in front, elbow on your knee. Stretch your left arm over your head and enjoy all the spaciousness through your sides. Both sides of your lungs getting some room. Rounding into your legs. And when you're ready, turn back to the front of your mat and bring your back foot forward. Folding deeply. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Opening up through the spine. Exhale, folding again. Step your right foot back. Left foot is in front now. Bring your back knee onto the ground. Start to open up through the psoas, the hip flexor of the front side of your right leg. Maybe your hands come up a little bit. Try not to sink or compress into your low back. Push into the ground to enliven the upward draft of the pose. And when you're ready, maybe your left hand on the block, right arm in the air, a little bit of a side bend. Hug to the midline with your legs. Keep anchored with your legs to support your spine. How's your breathing? And then we'll take that forearm or your elbow to your knee. Other hand on your thigh, or maybe your hands are together. Whatever you're doing, your collarbones and your chest are broadening. Stay connected to your legs. Press into the ground and hug to the midline. Find your breath. Fill your breath. This is a deep twist. Fill your breath into it. Opening up that psoas. And come back round. Grab your two blocks, have them in front of you. Lift your back knee up off the ground for a more traditional lunge. And then we'll go and bend and straighten. Find your breath, move inside your breath. Bending and straightening the front leg. All right, ground your legs, feel your roots, push through your feet. We're rising up to a crescent lunge. Open up the breath, lift the heart. Feel the deep grounding of your legs. And then we'll turn sideways to the other side of your mat. Wide legs, bend your knees again. Elbows or hands on the inside of your knees. A little bit of rocking if you want. Bearing weight left, bearing weight right, or you can be still. And we'll come out of there and adjust your feet for a Parsvakonasana. We're bringing our left foot in front now. Elbow on your knee. Stretch your arm overhead. Okay, so turn sideways. I know you all know this pose, but just in case, so you can see, feel your way into that length through your whole side. Ground into your feet. Relax your neck. Relax your eyes. Relax your hands. Feel the fullness of your breath. Okay, come back up. Turn back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. Feel extension and length in your body. Enjoy your legs coming back together. Turn your toes in. Wide legs to the edges of your mat. Turn your toes in. Breathe deep. And we'll come forward into a plank. And then lower your body down. Inhale for a cobra. Exhale and relax. Come up onto all fours. Give your spine a little wiggle and then come to rest in a child's pose. All right, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. We're going to do one pose and then we'll move into doing the work with our rib cage. So the pose we're going to do is a supported bridge on a low block. You can always go higher if you'd like. Okay, feet on the ground. Let's lift the hips, get the block underneath you, drop your shoulders down your back, turn your palms up, and then if it's comfy, stretch your legs straight. If it's not comfy, keep one knee bent, foot on the floor, or both. Find the fullness of your breath. Stretch your heels on the ground long. And then if it's comfortable, stretch your arms overhead as well. I know that's a little different than a typical bridge, but just see what it feels like to open up through the pelvis and breathe deeply. All right, put your feet on the ground, draw your knees in, and then lift your legs straight up just for a breath or two, just to neutralize the spine. Arms are down at your sides. And then we'll draw your knees in toward your chest. And you can do a happy baby pose on the block if you prefer, or just knees to your chest. Just let the back open up a little bit. And then we'll put our feet onto the ground and get that block out of there. All right, I think you all have done this with me in the past. So let's try it. We're going to take a rolled towel, kitchen towel with 3 rubber bands on it. Okay. And we'll start this at the top of our shoulders. So right at your shoulder blades, not above your shoulders, but at your shoulder blades, okay, the top of your shoulder blades. And remember, there's 3 different positions with the arms. We start with our hands over our chest, and then we reach them over our head, and then back over our chest, and we turn them from one side with our head to the other side. And then the movement is just pushing off our feet. So we're rocking north to south, top to bottom, crown to tail. All right, so this is an easy, this should feel good. This should feel like you're on the massage table getting a nice massage. Rocking is so good for us. And the gentle opening of all those paraspinal muscles is so good. So do those movements of your arms, arms over your chest, arms over your head, and then arms over to one side and arms over to the other side. And then when you get back, move your bolster down a little bit lower and keep on rocking. All right, so we're just rocking over that rolled towel. Make sure you're breathing. Arms over your chest, arms over your head, and then arms to one side, turning your head, and then arms to the other side, turning your head. This should feel really good, both in the rhythmic rocking of it and also the subtle massage of the paraspinal muscles. Never underestimate how much our vertebrae have to do with our breathing, even though we think, that's not really a part of our breathing apparatus. Our ribs attach to our vertebrae. So getting our posture in good shape and getting loose and free along our spine will help our breathing. Not to mention, some of the muscles of respiration are impacted by this rhythmic moving as well. The posterior serratus, for one. The traps, there's a lot of muscles that contribute to our breathing. It's not just the intercostal muscles. How's your breath doing? Keep moving the body on the roll towel, so the towel's moving down our spine. Having little segments where we do the 3 different motions and then we move down. When you get to the diaphragm area, just pay attention. See if you can let your breath come in a little deeper there. Kind of see what you can do to feel a release through your diaphragm to help you with your breath. This should feel really good. And of course, I always go a little speedy when we're doing this in class just because of interest of time. But remember this, you can do this whenever you want to do this, whenever you need a little nervous system reset or a little breathing reset, or your back's been bothering you, or you're just holding tension, or you feel tired. There's lots of reasons, lots of ways this can be very helpful to your well-being. Now, when you get closer to your low back, you start to lose a little bit of the pressure just because of, the way your curves go. So when you get to that spot, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost there. And you might feel like at that point you want to just bring your knees into your chest and hold your knees and do some rocking. You can do rocking left and right, and you can do rocking up and down. Okay, so that knees in will help you get a little bit more compression against the lumbar spine with the roll towel. Make sure you're breathing deeply through this. This should feel very rhythmic and rocking. If you're getting tired in your hip flexors or in your legs, try to work less, do less. Just let the movement do the work for you. You can also, if you struggle with that, you can put your feet up against a bolster and the bolster against a wall so that there's a little bit of feedback under your feet to help you. And when you get to the lower back, I'm just arriving at my lower back just to give you a sense of the speed that I'm going. And you could be much slower, and that's great. You could be faster too. I feel like I'm going pretty quickly through this. When I do this by myself, I am much slower. I luxuriate a whole lot more, spend a lot more time. You don't want to do this with the foam roller. It's too hard and it's too big, especially under our lumbar spine. You don't ever want to stick something really hard and big under your low back. This roll towel would be the extent of what I would ever put underneath my low back. Okay. And then after a couple passes in your lumbar spine, you'll find the ridge of your sacrum. And when you do that, you can put your feet back down onto the ground and go back to the rocking. Now, you might notice funny things happening. Like right now, I feel like I just got water up my nose, like I was swimming and got water up my nose. Like, and I'm all the way down in my low back. So to think that things are not connected is erroneous, right? So something I just did right at my sacrum is causing my sinuses to drain. So notice how connected your body is. Notice how your breathing intertwines everything. And you might have a couple of passes on your sacrum, and even though it may feel like, oh, why bother with the arms? Bother with the arms because it's subtle, but it's, it's connection into the flexion and extension and rotation of the spine. And then when you get lower on the sacrum and you start to kind of lose the feeling again, you can straighten your legs and put your heels on the ground and just flex and point your feet so you're rocking off your heels for that last spot on the tailbone. I know that sometimes we forget about this. I'll go long stretches of time while not kind of including it in our practice. So if you haven't done this in a while, notice how good it feels. And then when you're done, then there's no rush. You're all by yourself. You can do this for the rest of the class if you want to, but whenever you're done, take the towel out, pause in a little mini shavasana, and just enjoy the aliveness in the body. I was about to say the back of the body, but it's more than the back of the body. Notice your breathing. As you get to stillness, notice stillness. All right, we're gonna roll over to your side. Pause on your side and just kind of curl your body for a moment. Breathe. Let your body absorb the rocking and absorb the massaging of your spine. And then when you're ready, use your hands to push yourself up. And grab your MR ball, and you want this not to be all the way filled, about halfway filled, so you can adjust that. And we're going to go into the sides of our ribs now. So you can grab a block or a blanket for your head. And we'll get the rolled towel. Either you can start on either side, whichever side you're in the mood for. And we're going to do 3 different positions. We're going to have it right at our armpit, and then right at the kind of center of your rib cage, and then in your side waist. Okay, so starting in your armpit chest. Okay, so it's touching the ribs, the high ribs, and we're just going to rock back and forth on this a little bit. Just getting a little bit of a massage through under the armpit and into that side rib area. And again, you could do this for a long period of time. We're not going to, but you could if you want. And then stillness, put your other hand at the top ribs on the other side. So you kind of have a mirror between the two sides of your ribs. Take a deep breath in, up into that hand and into the ball. Hold. And then relax and see if you can feel a little compression in there. Let's do one more. Inhale, hold. And then compress. Walk the ball down to the middle of your rib cage. A little bit of rocking left and right. And again, you could spend so much time hanging out in here. Please do sometime, kind of just roll around on the floor on the ball. You can get it in your chest and in your back. We're focusing on the side of our ribs here, but really you can do a lot of exploration with using this ball. And then when you're ready, hand mirroring where the ball is on the other side of your rib cage. Deep breath in, hold. And then compress the air out both sides. Let the ball compress into you. Let your hand compress into you. One more time. And then release. And then we'll move the ball down to our side waist, kind of in between our ribs and our hip. And we'll be, touching the ribs, the bottom ribs now. And again, a little bit of rocking to and fro. You'll feel this in your obliques and in your quadratus lumborum and in your psoas and your transverse abdominis. There's a lot of muscles that live here. Breathing deeply as you rock. And then same action. Hand on the side waist. Take a deep breath in. Billow out your waist. Hold. And then exhale. Compress. One more time. Hold. And then compress. All right, we'll roll onto our back. Pause and notice the difference between your two sides. And then we'll switch. We'll come over to the other side. Block or a blanket under your head for support. Bend your knees. Get the ball under your armpit. And armpit chest, so not high in your armpit, but your armpit and your top ribs. You could forget the rocking and forget the compression and just sit here and breathe if you'd like to. And then if you want to have a little bit of movement, have a little bit of movement. And then pause. Hand at the top rib, take a deep breath. Hold. And then release. Let the ball enter you. Hand compresses. One more time. And then release. And then we move the ball down. Have a moment to just feel that placement. If the ball is too full, it's uncomfortable. If the ball's not full enough, doesn't do much. So find your sweet spot. Maybe you want to roll. Maybe you just want to lie here and breathe. We can hold so much tension in our ribs. Our breath can guard so much. So the more we can loosen our ribs, our diaphragm, our lung tissue itself, kind of make some space in that pleural cavity. Oh, so much room can be had. Let's hands on ribs, take a deep breath. Hold. Exhale, compress. Oh, maybe your voice is active. Okay, one more time. Hold. Let it out. And then lastly, we'll put the ball in our side waist. Maybe you just want to be here and breathe and not move. Maybe you want to rock. Just gonna see what feels good. And then we'll do a couple of breaths, deep breaths here. So find neutral, deep breath in, expand into your hand and ball. Exhale, compress. One more. All right, now you can do one of two things. You can either put this ball right under your sternum and lie on your belly on it and just have a couple of breaths here. And if you don't feel like doing that, you can come onto your back and put the ball underneath your sacrum. So maybe choose one or the other. I'm going to choose the sacrum. Just allow your body to breathe into the ball. Okay, and then we'll get the ball out of there. And as you find your way to Shavasana, if there's anything that your body needs to do to release tension, do it. If you want to have some support underneath your knees, that's a nice way of relaxing the body, letting the spine relax, the pelvis, the ribs can all find some good relaxation often when our knees are supported, so I recommend. And as you settle your body down, remember Shavasana can be done in so many ways. If your back is a little disturbed and you haven't been able to release it just by, subtle little poses, maybe you want to lie on your side for Shavasana. Maybe you want to put your legs higher up on a chair or a couch. Notice your breathing. Maybe give your arms a little room, stretch them a little further out to the side, give your ribs some space. Melt your head, melt your shoulders and arms. Melt your shoulder blades and your ribs and your spine and your pelvis. Melt your legs. And you feel ready, you can begin to deepen your breathing. And stretch your body. Find your way to your side and pause a moment. And bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. And as you do, pay attention to your breath. Feel your posture lift your heart. And let's bring our hands together and offer the gifts of your practice. Namaste. All right, so your yoga homework is to just notice your breathing through the day today as best as you can.